Hey, welcome back. So, I'll do one quick improv note. That will be half the day, or a couple minutes. I can upgrade. What can I upgrade here? Defense. No, I don't care about my defense. Cool. So we did a scene where... This isn't really super interesting, so I'm going to make it quick. You're a shadow. So there's two people doing a scene, and then two people being a shadow. And the shadow isn't part of the scene. They just tell the character what's in the scene. So two characters are in a break room, and then I tell the character, there's a coffee machine here, and there's a soda machine here. And it's just kind of interesting that I had more fun being the shadow than being the actual character. I think the point of that game was to show you, like, you're supposed to be the shadow, and then you're supposed to kind of merge the two together. Like, when you're doing a scene, you're supposed to be the shadow and the character. Like, you could just say whatever. There's a coffee machine here. Say that. Or show it. Because I made a joke that people liked while I was the shadow. Probably the most they laughed. And it was fun. They were in a break room, and they're like, oh, there's a soda machine here. And then I was like, I told the character, okay, there's a soda machine over there. And then I told the character, there's a soda machine over there. And then there's a soda machine over there. And there was 4 soda machines. And I was like, oh, that's funny. And it worked. The guy who I told it, like, made it work in a funny way. And I like doing that. I still haven't done... This is kind of... like, I don't know, a lot of... this is the next place you have to go. The Quarry. I haven't done any kind of, like, a romantic scene, because that's, like, a really, like, 50% of improv scenes. It seems like, it's like, oh, we're dating, or we're a couple. I haven't done that yet. I'm always like, oh, you're my coach, or you're my roommate, or you're my cousin. I'm never like, oh, you're my boyfriend, or you're my girlfriend. I never go there, because I'm like, I don't know. That's weird. I can't do it. I can't do that yet. I know the only romantic scene I ever did was with, and I like doing this scene. I did a scene with the teacher, Mike, who's like 60 years old, and we were like supposed to be dating, I guess, and and it was, but we didn't make a thing out of it. It was just like, oh, this is what we talked about in therapy. Maybe I should try to do that and just be like, hey, girlfriend, do you want to go on a date? I just practice saying that in the stupid improv scene. I don't want to do that. I want to get better. Okay, that's it for improv. What was the other thing I was going to do? I was going to talk about Napoleon. I'm started reading the Napoleon book, but I don't think that's my note. I have a lot of notes about Napoleon. Oh, Severance. You guys watch Severance? Dalton, you have Apple TV. It's pretty good. I liked it. It's very, it did remind me a lot of Lindelof shows. Of, like, mystery and, dark sci-fi kind of stuff. Dystopian It reminded me of The Leftovers in that way. It's just like kind of dystopian, alternate future stuff, which is cool. I like it. I'm on board for it. So let's talk about what Severance is about. I've been getting kind of into cult, like, research and stuff. Not research, but just like podcasts and YouTube videos, and cults are very interesting to me. And everybody likes cults. They're like the extreme of trust and like the boundary of human trust. They're like, how could somebody do these things? How could someone kill themselves with Kool-Aid? It doesn't make sense. It's the craziest thing ever. And I think the show, what I got out of it, a part of it, I mean, it's a lot of cool stuff, but like, they're showing how work is a cult. All work is a cult, kind of. Because you're there for 8 hours every day, and you kind of don't want to be, but you have to be. So they use, like, work uses the same tactics as cults to make you feel like it's important. The work is mysterious and important. That's the line from the show. Like, what we're doing here is so important. Like, that's why you're here, because of the work. Because if you're really honest with yourself, like, the reason you got a job is to have money. I mean, would you really be doing that? Like 99% of jobs, would you be doing it if they weren't paying you? If it was so important, then you would, right? And the show kind of directly connects religion and cults by making the work, Lumen, is kind of like super culty. There's a guy who wrote like his own Bible. The founder of the company like wrote a Bible, and everybody in the company is not allowed to read any other books except that book. And Patricia Arquette's character is like a devout follower of the founder, and she like quotes him and stuff. But so like all work is cultish. Like I listen to this podcast now called Indoctrination, which is about cults. And one thing she brought up, which was interesting, is how Jeff Bezos has this like all these people, all these CEOs have these like, oh, principles of leadership. Jeff Bezos' 14 principles of how to be a good leader. I think I wrote down one. Did I? And it's just like ridiculous nonsense. Like cult nonsense. That these leadership principles, just pay me and I'll do what you ask me to. What do you mean leadership principles? Strive to be the Earth's best employee. That's one of the principles. What hot garbage is that? What nonsense is that? That's like, yeah, I mean, it's like if you were in a cult, that would be like, oh, one of the 10 principles of wellness or something. How to be your actualized best version of yourself. Strive to be the best. What does that mean, be the best? What are you talking about? How do I know when I'm the best? A lot of what I'm learning about cults is like, that's what they do. They're very vague, and then they'll make you feel bad when you don't achieve like this vague goal that they've set. They'll be like, your goal is to be like holy or something. And then you're like, okay, I'll do whatever you say to be holy. And then you're like, then you go to the leader and you're like, am I holy yet? And they're like, no, you didn't do this other thing. And they're like, oh, okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. Am I holy yet? No, you're not holy yet. It's like you're trying to live up to their standard of their vague conception of whatever they're making up. I guess in work you have like kind of concrete goals, which is good. Like, oh, you have to meet this quarter goal or something. But then like, so another example of cultishness and work is MLMs. Multi-level marketing companies are very culty. And they'll do the same thing where they... If you don't reach the goal, it's your fault. You're a bad person. It's never their fault. It's never the leader's fault. It's never... I don't know where I'm going. Where's the... This isn't the right way. It's always like, you didn't work hard enough. Work hard enough? What? I mean, just pay me and I'll do what you want me to do. What do you mean work hard enough? I don't know where I'm going. But yeah, so Severance. It's a really cool show, and like those are my favorite parts of shows, like those extra things of like the show is about, like, the premise is there's this operation that is done to people where when they're at home they can't remember their work self, and when they're at work they can't remember their home self. So the people at work are kind of trapped there. They can't remember who they are, if they have a family. Whenever they leave work, they're immediately in their brain transported to the beginning of the day of the next day. So that's why the cultishness needs to be turned up to 11 for them to stay there. The work is mysterious and important. They need to be there because they're in a cult. A part of me, like, when I'm watching the show, I'm like, wait, why are they staying at this horrible company? Why don't they just, like, try to run away or try to kill themselves or stop working or form a union or something? But it's because they're in a cult. Like, why don't people who are in a cult leave even when the cult leader is, like, yelling at them every day and telling them to... There's this one cult that I listened recently where they castrated themselves, which is like, what? Why would you be in a cult like that? That's insane. But it's like, that's cult stuff, man. That's just what happens. So I think it would be unrealistic if they didn't turn up that cult aspect on the show and be like, oh, Father Kier is our guardian and he tells us what to do and we follow him. And this is the Bible. Father Kier's given us his holy handbook, the Holy Employee Handbook. I forget how to get to the boss of this one. But yeah, the show is really good in that way. It's written well. It's funny, which is fun. Like, that's nice. Like, you can be funny and also be serious. They do a good job of that. The building that they show for Lumen is Bell Labs, which was right next to my house. It's in the town that I grew up. It's technically in Murray Hill, which is right next to New Providence, where I grew up. Bell Labs is like a famous place where they invented television or something. I don't know. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. How you doing? Let's check in with you. You doing okay? You out there in TV land? I'm doing okay. How's this pimple? Is it okay? I don't know. See you tomorrow. Bye.